Hey guys, what's up? It's all about Mike18 here with another movie review. Guys, I will be reviewing Lincoln right now in this video. I'm actually sorry for this late review, guys. At first, I didn't think I was going to go see this movie. I heard about it, but it didn't really interest me that much. But then the movie came out, and a lot of critics started to review this movie, and the movie was getting nothing but praise. Everyone was praising the performances, especially in this movie. A lot are saying this is probably the best movie of the year, and even some are giving this movie a lot of Oscar buzz, and I'm pretty sure this movie is going to be nominated for several Academy Awards. I'm pretty sure, and it's already nominated for like a couple of Golden Globes, namely including Best Picture. So yeah, I was hearing a lot of good things about the movie. Then audience members were even praising the movie. That was something that was surprising me. Some were saying it was boring, but a good majority of the audience that went and saw this movie were just praising it. The movie has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, so yeah, to me, it's a pretty damn good movie. And the other main reason why I decided to go was because Steven Spielberg was directing the movie, and Steven Spielberg, in case any of you don't know, is probably one of my favorite directors of all time. I love his work. I have nothing but respect for the guy. He has made so many good movies that I love, namely the Indiana Jones movies. What else? He made E.T., love that movie, love the Indiana Jones movies. He made Jurassic Park, another excellent movie, and probably my favorite Steven Spielberg film of all time has to be Saving Private Ryan. I love that movie. That's probably my favorite war movie of all time as well. So I was looking forward to going to see this movie. Then I made a decision yesterday to go see it, and I went today with a whole bunch of friends that hadn't seen the movie. I went today the 18th. And was the movie good? Yeah, it was a very good movie. I'm not going to say that it was absolutely perfect, that it was flawless. This movie did have some flaws in it, in my opinion. It wasn't... was it boring like some are saying it was? There were some parts that did bore me. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say, oh no, this movie's not boring at all. You go into the movie, you're going to be entertained throughout. No, there will be some parts of this movie that you're going to get bored by, just to be aware, especially if you have a short attention span, but I'll get into that later. Right now I want to talk about the story for Lincoln. Starting off this review as I normally do, I always start off with the story. So, the setting in this movie, you guys, is throughout the whole film, 1865. Yeah, that's right, years ago. At this time, Abraham Lincoln is reelected into office for a second term as president. And also this is the time when the Civil War is occurring, the fight between the Confederates and the Union, and the Civil War is a very brutal war. There's literally an opening scene in this movie that's about between a minute to a minute and a half long, showing soldiers from the Confederate side and the Union side fighting against each other in the war. It's a very brutal scene, but it's quick. They really don't show too much of that scene, just to let you guys know. And President Lincoln feels that he needs to do something about this war, when what he wants to do is abolish slavery. That is what he has wanted to do for a very long time, and his main goal, the movie is basically about Lincoln trying to get the 13th Amendment created, which will abolish slavery. And that is basically the whole entire movie plot. I tried to sum it, I think I summed it up pretty good. Lincoln's trying to get this amendment together. He's trying to get people to support his idea to get this amendment passed. There are a lot of people that are against this amendment, namely a lot of Democrats are against the amendment, and basically Lincoln has a lot of Republicans on his side, and he has to get a lot of Democrats on his side throughout the movie to get this amendment passed. So that's one thing that he has to... So he is dealing with a whole bunch of struggles just to get this one amendment passed. He also is dealing with some other problems relating to his family, namely his son. I believe his name Robert Lincoln. I think it's Robert. I hope I didn't forget. Who wants to join the Union and fight in the Union in the Civil War. So Lincoln's dealing with all these struggles as in his second term during his presidency, and that's pretty much that's pretty much the plot of Lincoln summed up. There are a couple other things that I could get into, but I'm really not gonna. I want to save time. That's basically what you have to know about walking into this movie. That's what Lincoln's trying to do. He's trying to get this amendment passed. and he's dealing with a lot of struggles while trying to get it passed. Now, there are some boring parts in this movie, but I'll get into that later, because I did have a few parts that I was a little bored by, that I have complaints about, which I'll get into later. But for the good majority of this movie, it was really, really good. I was really into the movie in some parts. Namely, there are a lot of debates in the House of Representatives. In some parts of the movie, there's like 3 or 4 debates. I forget how many. And the final one, of course, is the one where everyone has to vote. And they were very intense. I was into those scenes. I was really drawn to those scenes. And those are the scenes that Lincoln wasn't even in. He wasn't even in most of those scenes. So the movie has a lot of those important scenes. And unfortunately, the movie just shows what's going on during this time in Lincoln's presidency. We don't see anything about his childhood or anything like that, or how he became president. This is all just discussing what went on during that time period where Abraham Lincoln tried to get the 13th Amendment passed. So that's basically your story of Lincoln. I'll talk more about, some elements of the story later on. Right now, I've got to talk about the performances, because this is probably one of the best things in the movie. One of the most important parts of the movie are the performances. First one, of course, I will mention is Daniel Day-Lewis's Lincoln. He has been nominated for the best actor in a drama in the Golden Globes. He absolutely deserves to win it. Daniel Day-Lewis was fantastic in this film as Lincoln. Outstanding acting from Daniel Day-Lewis in this movie. You could tell that his character, the character of Abraham Lincoln, was really getting worn down by, especially towards the end of this movie. And it's only his second term as president. He was really getting worn down by this struggle to get this amendment passed. And Lincoln is just a character that you grow to love throughout the entire movie. And, I got to give Daniel Lewis credit. He put on, like, this accent that we don't even know if Lincoln had, because we've never heard what Lincoln sounded like. And he pulled it off. He looked exactly like Lincoln, too. That's another thing I really loved. Like, the costume and the makeup design was fantastic in this movie. But anyway, Daniel Day-Lewis, fantastic as Lincoln. He deserves to win the Golden Globe for Best Actor, and he deserves to win the Academy Award, too, for Best Actor. In motion picture, he absolutely deserves it. Then there are a lot of the supporting roles in this movie that were excellent as well. Sally Field as Mary Todd Lincoln. Wow, she was good in this movie too. She deserves to win the award in the Golden Globes for the Best Supporting Actress. She deserves it. She was excellent in this movie. I thought they would show more of her, though. They really didn't show a lot. I mean, she was in the movie a lot, but I just thought that she would be in a good majority of the scenes. There were some scenes I thought she should have been in, but she wasn't. And then, but overall, Sally Field, excellent in this movie. Then you had Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones in this movie, probably the best movie I've ever seen him in. His performance in this movie was excellent. His character was hilarious in some parts. I actually laughed a couple times at what Tommy Lee Jones said. Very funny. I love Tommy Lee Jones in this movie. He was excellent. Great acting from this cast. This cast was phenomenal. And finally, the next big supporting role I'm going to talk about is Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is on fire this year. Dark Knight Rises. He had Premium Rush. He had Lincoln now. He was excellent in all 3 films. This one, he was excellent in this one. I really loved Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this. I would love to see him, along with Tommy Lee Jones, get nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards. He deserved it. He deserves it for this movie. He was excellent in this movie. I'm beginning to really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's a great actor. So overall, the main cast was excellent in the movie. Perfect performances. Even the supporting characters were excellent in this movie. There were a lot of solid, great performances in this movie. There were a couple of actors that also came to the movie I didn't expect. Bruce McGill is in the movie. Tim Blake Nelson is in the movie for a few scenes. Even Julie White, who's in the Transformers movies, is Shia LaBeouf's mom in those movies. She's in a couple scenes in these movies. So yeah, I was really surprised by how many cast members I actually knew in this movie. But Daniel Day-Lewis, Sally Field, Tommy Lee Jones, Joseph Gordon-Levitt were absolutely fantastic in this movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I forgot to mention, he plays Lincoln's son. I think I mentioned that already. Okay, I thought I didn't mention that. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, like I said, performances were probably one of the best things in this movie. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the movie's I'll talk about the movie's rating really quickly. This movie is rated PG-13. Perfect rating for the movie. I wouldn't have given it an R rating or anything like that. It doesn't deserve an R rating. There's like hardly any violent scenes in this movie except for the opening scene depicting that Civil War battle. There really isn't. There's some bad language in the movie though, but overall it's just it's not an appropriate movie for young teenagers to go see. Next thing, a couple more good things I liked about the movie that I want to talk about before I give my rating. I loved the score by John Williams. I believe that's who composed the score. John Williams, excellent job with the score. I loved the music in this movie. The score was excellent. Also, the costume design and the makeup was excellent. This movie deserves to win for Best Costume Design at the Academy Award. The costumes were fantastic. I felt like I was actually, in some parts of the movie, I felt like I was actually in 1865 in all these debates. I mean, that's how cool that, I was amazed by the costumes. Some scenes, I felt like I was actually in the scene, in some of those scenes. And, like I said, the makeup was excellent. It really looked like it was 1865 in this movie. Now, the next thing, guys, I'm going to get into is my rating of Lincoln. I will also talk about my complaints I had with the movie. I'm going to give Lincoln either an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. I'm still undecided. I would probably put this as one of the best movies I've seen all year. Yeah, so I'll probably go with an 8.5 out of 10 for Lincoln. It was a very, very good movie. Again, the things I liked about the movie, the story for the most part was very good, kept me on the edge of my seat, namely in a few of the debate scenes. A few of the debate scenes in this movie were really intense. I was like really into these scenes, especially the ending, the final debate scene where everyone has to vote on whether or not they want to pass this amendment. I thought it was really intense, even though I knew what the outcome would be, because everyone knows that this 13th Amendment was passed and slavery was abolished, but I was still on the edge of my seat, and that's something that's very impressive for a director to do, to put you on the edge of your seat even when you know the outcome of something. That is very impressive. Congratulations, Steven Spielberg. So that's what I love about the story. The performances were excellent. I'm not even going to go back into them. Like I said, the Daniel Day-Lewis, Sally Field, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Tommy Lee Jones were all excellent in this movie. I loved all their performances. Daniel Day-Lewis is probably the best actor I've seen all year in a movie. Also, like I said, the score was excellent. The costume design I really liked. The overall feel of the movie, it really felt like it was an 1865 movie. It really did. Now, guys, on to my complaints with the movie. Unfortunately, I did have some complaints with the movie. There were a few scenes in this movie where I did feel bored. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There were some boring scenes in this movie. I don't think anyone who would go into this movie is going to say that they were entertained throughout. You're going to find at least one scene in this movie where you get a little bored. There's a lot of dialogue in this movie. Like, the script writing was very good, though. There were some parts where the script writing, though, it did bore me a little bit. So that's something to be aware of. I did get bored a few times, probably because I'm young and I'm not really interested in, all the stuff about politics and everything like that. I don't know if that's a reason why. Another reason probably why I got bored and I really started to get, my eyes started to get heavy was probably because I went to bed late last night. So that's probably my fault. I definitely got to see this movie again. There are some things I got to rewatch again, because some parts I really did get bored. I lost what was going on with the story. So that's why I lowered this movie's rating. And also two other mini complaints. One complaint, which is a spoiler, I will quickly mention. Spoiler alert, guys, if you don't want to hear it, everyone knew that this happened in real life, but if you don't want to hear it, just don't watch it. One thing I didn't like, they did not actually show Lincoln's death in the end of the movie. It was just talked about. I was really disappointed about that. I really wanted to see Lincoln's death. And also another little problem, this is not a spoiler, guys, I just said the spoiler. My final complaint with the movie that some people actually enjoyed, Lincoln's early life was never depicted in this movie. It was just Lincoln's, from his re-election into his second term in office onward into the movie until his spoiler death. So I wanted to see some of his early life and how he became president. That's something that kind of bothered me a little bit. Not too much, though. That's just a minor complaint. So that's why I gave this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, Some scenes I was really fascinated by, namely the ending. The ending of this movie was wow. I was really into the movie. Like, from, I don't know, maybe with an hour left of the movie, I was into the movie. However, somewhere in the middle, I started to get a little bored. I started to fidget a little in my seat. I just needed to get up, but I didn't. I stood on my seat and waited for the end because I knew the ending. I knew this film would have a great conclusion. Overall, guys, Lincoln, excellent historical drama. Really enjoyed this movie. Excellent drama. Guys, 8.5 out of 10. I would recommend you see Lincoln. However, I'm going to just provide you guys with this word of caution. If you are not interested in historical movies, or if you get bored easily, if you have a very short attention span, you will get bored in this movie. I'm going to be completely honest. Lincoln, guys, a very good movie, probably one of the best of 2012. Definitely, it'll probably be on my top 10 list. I really want to see it again, though, because there are some parts I did get bored. I started to nod off a little. I never fell asleep, but my eyes started to get heavy, and I started to pay less attention to the movies. I was getting tired, and I feel really bad, but, there were some scenes like that. So, guys, 8.5 out of 10, again, like I said, would recommend it. I'm definitely going to get it on Blu-ray, probably not right away, but I will get it on Blu-ray because I need to watch it again because there's some things I really need to rewatch, probably when I'm more awake. Thanks for watching this review, guys. I got possibly two movie reviews coming onto my channel that I'm gonna go see. I'm possibly gonna go see 2 more movies before the end of the year, and those 2 movies will be Jack Reacher. I'm thinking about going to see Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher because it looks pretty cool, and I'm definitely gonna go see Monsters Inc. in 3D because I love that movie. So, guys, thank you for watching my review of Lincoln. What you guys think of the movie? I just want to know in the comments. Did you guys think that some parts of this movie were a little boring, like I did? I thought a couple parts a little boring for me. That's probably because I really don't get politics and, some things in our history that much. I get bored easily by that stuff. So, guys, thanks for watching this review of Lincoln. Bye.